Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Rafael dos Anjos to defeat Khabib Nurmagomedov. And that is why you should listen to me when I break down Tom Nolan versus Nikolas Motta. Tom Nolan is 6-0 as a pro, 23 years old, and he's got 4 inches of height and 5.5 inches of reach over 30-year-old Motta, who has a record of 13-5. 13-6, but I'll get to that later. Tom Nolan, 6-0. He's got 4 knockouts and 2 decisions. The 4 knockouts come in his most recent 4 fights, so he's certainly trending one way as a young pro. His best win comes in his most recent fight against the guy Bogdan on the Contender Series, and he steamrolled the guy like he's done to just about everybody else. He's faced adversity only a few times that I've seen. Once as a pro, in maybe his first fight against the guy Sam Flint, he beat him by decision. The guy Sam Flint was largely outgunned in a grappling match against Tom Nolan, but he was still able to take down Tom in, I believe, every round, secure some good positions, and in general just test his cardio, if nothing else. And Tom Nolan passed the test. I don't want to make it sound like it was the greatest fucking test that's ever been passed, but he suffered a loss as an amateur. That wasn't a great look, where he fell apart due to cardio in round 3 against this guy Aaron McCarroll. He was TKO'd in round 3, shooting desperation takedowns, and again, this is an amateur fight, which is 3-minute rounds. And despite that being a while ago in terms of his career, it still wasn't that long ago. So for him to pass any test in any sort of a competitive fight as a pro was a good look, and Tom Nolan passed that test, and then since then has looked much more dangerous, much more comfortable on the feet, and again has steamrolled everybody else pretty much. Nikolas Motta, he's got a record of 13-5, 6. He's got 13 wins, 9 via knockout, 4 via decision. Not a submission threat at all, but he's got good power for someone his size. He's a well-rounded striker, very good offensively. I think if these two guys if these two guys wore helmets, I think Nikolas Motta could win, despite being outgunned physically. I think Nikolas Motta is much more comfortable as a striker and could find a hole in Tom Nolan, probably chewing up his calf, to be honest. But take away the helmets, as they're going to do on Saturday night, when these two guys fight, and Nikolas Motta is just a very unhealthy fighter at 30 years old. 5 losses, 4 via knockout at TKO, 1 via submission, 2. He lost to Trey Ogden by submission, in my opinion. So he should have 2 submission losses. But he's very unhealthy. His chin is his biggest liability. And Tom Nolan, not that he's Israel Adesanya or Anderson Silva or something, but he's a big, strong, physical young kid, and he's shown to have knockout prowess. So, gun to my head, I'd go Tom Nolan winning by knockout, but if Tom Nolan is not able to win by knockout, if you told me these two guys fight to a decision, I would pick Nikolas Motta. I think Nikolas Motta would tame Tom Nolan in one way or another. And if you told me either guy got a finish deep into the fight, I'd say it's 50-50, just because I still don't trust Nikolas Motta's durability. But the pick is Tom Nolan. I just have such little faith in Nikolas Motta. And again, the way he looked against Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden was supposed to win by submission. I have it literally 99%. I'm 99% sure he was going to win by submission in the end there before the fight was stopped. But even before that, Trey Ogden was leading the dance, busting him up on the feet. Trey Ogden is not a very sophisticated striker, but he's big, and he's a guy who's sharpened enough tools, a lot of basic tools, where he's formidable on the feet. He's comfortable. Tom Nolan, despite being very dangerous, I don't know if he can be that comfortable in a give-and-take battle with a guy as seasoned as Nikolas Motta. So I think Tom Nolan needs Nikolas Motta's chin to fail. That is my pick. I think it will happen in round 1. But as far as the bets, I'm not betting on it unless, the props are yet to be released. It would have to be something juicy for me to bet on Tom Nolan. I expect his knockout line to be nothing, to be not worth betting on. But Nikolas Motta winning down the stretch or even by decision, taming the youngster, I'll see what that's worth. That might be worth a sprinkle. And when I say a sprinkle, I mean a fucking sprinkle. We're talking pennies here. But I think Nikolas Motta is a seasoned veteran just with a lot of liabilities. If those liabilities aren't a part of this fight, I think he's the more comfortable and at this point skilled fighter. So it's interesting. But again, the pick is Tom Nolan wins by knockout. And it happens in round 1, and it happens inside 2 fucking minutes. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.